Module 1, Chapter 3, Definitions. To finish this module, and before starting the next one, I would like to explain some important definitions that will be used throughout this course, which will help you a lot, eliminating the possibility of some possible misinterpretations. The first definition I would like to highlight is the role of the PII controller, or simply the controller of the information. It is a person or group of people who determines the purpose for which and the manner in which the PII is processed. They are those who have certain control over the data. They are those who have certain control over the data. The next definition is the PII processor, or just the information processor. As the name says by itself, it is the one who processes the information at the request of the controller. That is, he is hired by the controller to do certain processing. Okay, but what does it mean to process the data, right? So what that word means, process. When we're talking about data processing, we are talking about storing, sending, transmitting, collecting, or receiving data, or even some programming function operation that is done with the data itself. If I'm storing the data in a database, that's processing. If I am transmitting the data from my internal system to the cloud, I am processing the data. I'm processing it. So if I've created a form on the internet where people will input some personal data themselves, I am processing the information and so on. The other definition I would like to highlight is for the customer. So who is the customer? What is the definition of customer? Well, that will depend a little bit. There are three main cases that could help you. One, it is the company that has a contract with the information controller, the client of the personal information controller. Two, the second case is that of the personal information controller that has a contract with a personal information processor. So the client of the personal information processor. And the third case is that of the processor of personal information who has a contract with a subcontractor, like with a third party for the processing of personal information. So the customer of the subcontractor, the subprocessor. Well, this may sound a little strange, but it happens a lot too. That's really true. Especially when you talk about digital marketing. There are so many different campaigns with different geographic regions, different social media. The complexity is so great that sometimes it can even go down one or two levels lower than that. And that's when there is the figure of the subprocessor and so on. Very good. So these are the important definitions that I would like to highlight for you today before we finish. And now, in the next module, in the sequence, we will enter the specific requirements of the ISO 27701.